Uh, Welcome back, everyone. I managed to join all the rooms during the discussions, and it's some really great points being raised after the mandated technology issues. I heard a lot about current projects in clean maritime, connectivity, and autonomy, as well the wider issues that we're working on as an ecosystem and how they all fit together as part of a mission focus. Also heard a lot about the opportunity to create new jobs in the region, but also the challenges we have in attracting skills, both to the sector and our region. It's been really good, as well as that, to hear your views on the Solent Maritime Innovation Gateway, that our focus should be to action, not creating a talking shop, and enabling real collaboration with partners as well, not just promoting opportunities, but working to create them. And I do hope you found it useful as well in sharing all these points with the teams and hearing from other people and organizations. So now if I could ask the facilitators to provide us with a brief overview, some of the highlights and the higher priority areas identified in the room, as well, just with a view to time, asking the facilitators please to try and keep it to 2 or 3 minutes. So I think first we'll have Jordan from the Clean Maritime room. If you're able to join us, Jordan.
Hi, Tom. Can you hear me okay?
I can indeed.
Perfect, thank you. So lots of exciting talk in the Clean Maritime room. I think we could have gone on for another hour, maybe spent some more time on the different sections. So to begin, why Clean Maritime? Although it's focused on carbon, how do we improve air quality in a broader sense? Not just decarbonisation, the economic opportunity, lead the markets globally, nationally. And I think one of the most prominent points is capitalizing on the Clean Maritime demonstration, and how that can help identify who the key players are in that space. And we've got Clean Maritime Demonstration 2 coming down the bearing shortly. So in terms of who's engaged, lots of different organizations from across the ecosystem. I think in terms of Solent's gain, it's marketing and positioning the Solent regionally, nationally, and globally to not just attract tourism, but improve the quality of life. This is a topic which resonates with lots of different businesses, and how do we clean the maritime sector as a whole? In terms of economic, I think some of the key findings were it's going to stimulate the economy, increasing the gross value adds, attract new investors, but it may also mitigate for competition. In terms of building the vision, I think it's understanding collectively the direction of travel to address the clean maritime. How do we share that knowledge and focus on the key challenge rather than focusing on cost? Because is the main, I suppose, challenge that there is a large cost to bear, but it's something that's needed to happen to accelerate the decarbonisation and the cleaning up of that maritime sector. In terms of writing a headline post, it was for Twitter or any other sort of social media platform. It was about projecting a green Solent, what's going to capture the attention and be the headline mark. Identifying what actions need for the Solent to respond. It's forming that sort of short, medium, and long-term direction of travel. How do we make the Solent stand out on a map as a leader in that clean maritime space? When we think about the market barriers for customers in clean maritime, it's that cost versus risk analysis. how do we encourage businesses to take greater risk to accelerate, again, that transition to net zero, because we need to learn quickly if we're looking to establish Solent as a clean maritime leader. And one of the other barriers that was really resonated within our group is we need infrastructure globally. It's all well and good having a leading hub, but how do we connect that with the other clean sectors or clean countries or clean ports? One idea that was floated was the Green Corridor, which could be key to supporting or the start of decarbonising the maritime sector. How do we break down barriers? Do we just start? You know, it's all well and good talking about the problem, but let's just start. In terms of who is leading globally or regionally, Port of Antwerp was floated, and Scandinavia seemed to be quite frequent in terms of our discussions. How do we position ourselves, know our strengths, and promote our USP, align the strategy in terms of bringing that coherence together and underpinning it with strong leadership? What are the requirements for what must it have? Find out what are the blockers for the adoption of a clean maritime sector, be a one-stop shop for all innovation, and help support the sort of local supply chain. What it must not have, and that's something that's featured quite frequently, is it must not be a talking shop, just regular meetings without any tangible outputs. And finally, enablers. It requires involvement from the Solent Freeport and other departments from within government to support this initiative, and it will require engagement with collaborators, investors, research. So that's my summary. Thank you, Tom.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Jordan. Action now, it seems to be. So as well, if we can turn to Paul, who'll be able to give us a bit of an overview of Connected Maritime.
Thanks, Tom. And I'd like to thank everyone that joined my mural for Connected Maritime. We had some really good conversations, got some brilliant post-it notes put up. One of the big themes that seems to have come up for us is that Connected Maritime is there's a lack of use cases currently that needs to be worked on, and one of the ways we can be doing that is by shouting about what our SMEs in the Solent are doing, and being a hub where we can connect people both nationally and internationally to opportunities for them. Some of the reasons why we should be looking at Connected Maritime in the region is for the improved safety. We don't want to miss an opportunity, and about the 5G and what that can enable at sea with autonomy and regulations and future technology. Some of the things that have really come up in the who in the Solent's already working in this. We've got ADP Port, AQL, Cows Week Limited, Freeport. So there's already a lot of people in the region that are working, and that's something that's was highlighted in the group. There's actually that the skill set in the Solent is so diverse compared to a lot of other regions. It's an asset that we should really be making the most of and marketing. And some of the skills that we're going to be bringing into the region, so we're going to be secure, high-skilled graduate jobs, bigger SME growth. We had a lot around education, and the facts that we need to be identifying skills gaps, but not the skills gaps. Well, not just the skills gaps we've currently got, but the skills gaps that are going to be coming in the future from these new roles. How there could be some collaboration between the education providers in the region, so they're not competing against each other, but supporting each other in offering courses. And one of our really good Twitter posts we got was a unicorn startup culture embedded in the Solent, which I think everyone could agree would be amazing if all of a sudden the Solent became the Silicon Valley of the UK, and we had all the unicorn enterprises popping up in the Solent. And for our requirements, we had a lot around our big hitter on what we must do is be the central voice of the market, the region, gather case studies, map assets, create and create a database of businesses and their capabilities. And another thing which I noticed Jordan picked up on as well was we mustn't be a place that talks and doesn't do. That's not what the Solent Mig should be. It should be a place that gets people together and then creates action in the region. And there's a lot of people that seem to think we need to be bringing in, collaborating with our neighbouring regions, working together with the 3 amazing universities we've got in the region, and looking for that Innovate UK funding. Again, thank you all for taking part. Back to Tom.
Thank you very much, Paul. And again, a lot of excellent discussion in there. I think for the final room in Autonomous Maritime, we'll ask Howie to come and give us a bit of a review of that session.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, we had really interesting discussions in our group as well, and we had similar themes in terms of trying not to be in competition with other regions. We need to be collaborative and cohere in the narrative to be able to identify a USP and how it fits in the wider UK ecosystems. Every region has its own unique selling point. We're not here to say what we're doing better against other regions, but what's unique about Solent. And one thing that was brought up was the Solent being the Maritime Technical Centre of Excellence. So it holds the whole complete domain with the people, defence, the ports, research, leisure, which is all encompassing and all covered for the whole ecosystem. And one thing that we could also way to attract this people to the region is being selling that Solent is a great place to live and work, and we don't want to be just a place for producing products, but also be able to identify the challenges that we're trying to solve to be more coherent in that. In terms of the voting sessions, our highest must requirement was to facilitate collaboration, and then second was to be a focal point and slash coherence. In terms of what Solent Mig mustn't do is to generate internal competition and working silo. So we need to be engaged with investors and the innovators, which is the top 2 that came up in the vote. So yeah, once again, I'd like to thank everyone who was in the Maritime Autonomy call for your contribution. And sorry, I do apologise for constantly dropping out due to the laptop heating up. But thank you again.
No, thank you very much, Howie. And with that, we'll be bringing our main event today to a close. We'll be reviewing and considering and analysing all the inputs and discussions we've had today in our work. But as well, I would like to invite any of you to get in touch with the team or myself or anybody connected with this work to cover any points that you felt were missed, you didn't have a chance to raise, or if you have further thoughts after this session. If you don't have our contact details already, you will have them following the event. So as well, I'd very much like to thank Stuart Baker and the Maritime UK Solent team for commissioning and supporting this important work. Our partners at the Solent Maritime Enterprise Zone, led by Captain Alan Yoop, for their tireless efforts and valuable insights. As well, I'd like to thank our very good friends at Know Now, our facilitators and events team for supporting the discussions today and all the hard work that we all know goes into doing that. But mostly, as the facilitators have said, I would most of all like to thank all of you here today for your continued and candid contributions and your commitment to growing our region, working together more effectively to realise those greater impacts. So it's goodbye from me until next time, but I believe after this we can open up the rooms again for any networking opportunities. So all that's left for me to say is thank you very much.